Good morning. Welcome to DIY with Gayle in the Ketchikan Public Library. Wow! Oh wow! So last week we did the knitting and I introduced the Explorer bags. You guys are awesome! By Tuesday there was only one bag, and that was the jewelry one left hanging there. There were 11, you guys. You're totally awesome. So today I'm going to introduce you to another one. And this one is the crochet one, okay? So this is our new Explorer crochet bag at the Ketchikan Public Library to help you use our videos and our wonderful books to help you make your first crochet. And we are going to do the granny square today. And as you can see, we have tons of books on the granny square because you can make so many different motifs. Today we are going to do a double crochet granny square, which is down in front here. This is a really big one so that you can see the different stitches and stuff in it. We're going to start in the middle, making a circle, and then we are going to continue out from there. And these are called double crochets. All of this is done with a double crochet and a chain 2, okay? Which turns into a lovely square. Now I'm going to move over to this one right here and show you that with just a different size hook and weight yarn, we get a nice tiny little one. And this is what I'm making out of it right here, and those will be displayed Saturday when you come in to take a peek. Okay, so like I said, using a small hook and smaller weight yarn, I get a very small granny square. This one happens to be a size 9. And as you practice making your granny squares, and remember, I always say practice is perfect. You need lots and lots of practice, which means you can make lots and lots of squares to do whatever you wish with. Okay? Now that I've shown you the squares and the books, I'm going to show you inside that crochet bag, that Explorer bag. Oh, okay. So again, we have a piece of paper that tells everything that's in the bag in this cute little pouch. So we've got hooks. We've got the items to help mark the special stitches if you're doing a motif and need to know where to start that. And we have the needles, okay? These needles are very, very important for hiding your tails and stuff like that. And I will show you how to do that here in a little bit. I love crocheting. It's probably my favorite craft. I learned when I was 8 from my grandmother. She used to give me little balls of yarn and I would chain stitch. Now I'm going to show you that. Stay right there, Nathan, and I'm going to come right in there. So what she taught me was to first make your little loop, okay? That loop gets bigger if you pull the little one and smaller if you pull the big one. So it was up, pull, pull. Now I will tell you that Gayle had strings of this stuff by the mile around her room. Yes, I did. It was around my posters. It was around everything. I made them hundreds and hundreds of feet long, and that was my first crocheting. So then she'd have me over every weekend while Grandpa watched Satchel Pants, and she would teach me crochet, and I finally learned. And at age 8, I was making clothes for my Barbies and my dolls, and that is where I am now. I'm still making clothes for Barbies and dolls and kids and tons of other things. And I just think it's absolutely cool that you get to try this. Okay? I'm going to show you in detail how to do the double crochet granny square. But you can see they use the double crochet in all sorts of wonderful things in this book. And as you make your squares and practice, and you can make different motifs, just use the same size needle, and that way you can come back later and attach all your squares together. So if you want to try crocheting and you don't have the equipment or tools to do it, come on in to the Ketchikan Public Library. There's even yarn in there for you to make your very first one. This one is a lightweight yarn. Let's talk about that. This is a very lightweight yarn. Matter of fact, when I take this back, I will put a heavier weight in here. I want you to use a 4-ply. The reason I say that is if you are a beginner, this lightweight yarn is very difficult to use. It looks really pretty, done up. It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's very hard to work with as a beginner. See? Very wonderful. And I'm going to show you just the weight next to this one. This is a 4-ply, okay? And it just gives you a little bit more meat to hang on to. Same with your needle when you're choosing. Go into the bag and put them in your hand and feel what feels good, okay? These happen to have a rubber handle, which is absolutely fabulous. I do find as they get warm, it's much nicer to work with. There are some other ones you can get at Walmart and stuff that you can put on if you own your own and want the cushy. They do actually make them. I recommend sticking to a metal hook or a wooden hook. I find the plastic hooks, my hand gets so warm, they actually warp after a short amount of time. They get soft, and I find that they bend as I use them. So one of the things that I want to mention is tails. In both the knitting and the crocheting, when we go over to the chair and start crocheting, I do talk about leaving lengths of yarn for your tails so that you have tails. The same within the middle, and I show you how to cover that one in the middle. And the reason I talk so much about tails, you guys, is this is something that I did many years ago and didn't know about tails. And so all of my tails were too short to hide, okay? And they stick out on my project everywhere because they're just too tiny to take that needle and put them inside. And remember, I was saying those little needles are so important. And this is why. If you can't hide your strings, then you have these little things that stick out, they get frayed, etc. So, let me show you how to do it, if I can get the needle threaded. You hear the pump just came on. So to hide it, we just go into the stitches. And I like to go down to the bottom here and just pull it gently, bring your tail through. And then where we went through the loop and made all those stitches in there, I just hide it in there, okay? And you want to hide enough of it so that during washing and stuff, it doesn't come out. Okay, so now it's hidden in there. You no longer see it. We can come in and clip. And then we have this nice, neat little motif with no threads hanging out, okay? So please, leave long threads. Remember, you can clip them later. Of course, this is the back, and like I said, it just doesn't look nice. Here's my front, and I still have a few that peek through. Okay? So there's my tip on tails. Hide your tails, leave them long, etc. Alrighty, so let's go over to the chair and get comfy, and I'll show you how to do a granny square. Alrighty, the very first thing that you should do when you learn to crochet is get comfy. So pick your most comfy chair and get totally comfy with your friends. And then you start with a piece of yarn, well, leftover yarn and a crochet hook. Honestly, try anything from an H on up to start because it's just easier to handle. Smaller is harder. My favorite probably is a G and a 4-ply yarn, and this is how you begin. Hold your yarn, cross it. You're going under that one to pull it through to make the loop. And I can never do it in a one full sweep, especially with you watching over my shoulder. So there it is. You pull the long one, it gets tight. You pull the short one, it gets long. Please note, I have left a tail. Now I'm going to show you another way to do it. Hang on one sec. I'm going to pull this out. Okay, if you are too clumsy like me to do it with the needle, don't worry about it. Stick your fingers in, cross it, take the long one, and pull it through. There it is. Put your hook in, pull the long one. All right. As I said, leave a tail. The tail is important later. All right, we're going to come down closer into my lap so it's in closer for me. Taking your long one, we're going to put long one over, okay, and we're going to pull it through. That counts as a 1. Yarn over, 2, yarn over, 3. All right, that gives us 3 little stitches. We're going to go to the very first stitch, which is actually our slide on one, yarn over, pull it through that one and through the other one, and we have 1 left. Okay, yarn over and pull it through 1, 2, 3. That chain is going to count as our first double crochet. You see this one in the way here? That's our tail. We're going to pull that one out of the way a little bit. Okay? So, yarn over. Now we made a circle down here by making that slip stitch. You have to go down there and find that circle. There it is. Keep your tail together. We put yarn over, pull it through the circle. Now we have 3 on the hook. Yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2, yarn over, 1, 2. You have just made your first double crochet. So we have a bunch of chain 1s right here, which is going to impersonate our first double crochet. We have a double crochet. We need 1 more. Yarn over. In that same middle of that circle, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, go through 2, that leaves us 2 left, yarn over, go through the 2. You can pull them nice up tight together, and that gives us 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Yarn over again, back into the same middle of that circle, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over, pull it through 2, 2 again. Okay, that makes that first double crochet. Yarn over, in the circle again, pull it through, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through two. Now we have 2 double crochets in that group. If you'll note, I am still having my tail run along here, and it's actually being covered up by that stitch. Watch closely. Yarn over, through the circle. See that? My tail is hiding there. Yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2 and 2. What I have now done is hidden my tail. So later on when I'm done, I can cut this off and my tail is already taken care of. Okay, again, we're going to look at this. We have just completed a corner of our square. Can you see it? This is the corner, and this is the start of one side and the start of the other side. Okay, once you do the 3 double crochet, we need 2 chains, chains. Yarn over, in the hole, yarn over and out, yarn over, through 2 again. And we start our second corner. Yarn over, through the hole, yarn over, pull, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2. One more. This is probably the hardest part that you will work on, is just recognizing the stitches and finding where that doggone hole is. Okay, so I've got my 3 double crochets, so I need to chain stitch 2, yarn over, down through the hole again, up, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2. And you will have to shift them like this because it gets nice and tight, and you want that nice and tight. Yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2. One more, yarn over, in the hole, out, grab it, pull it through, yarn over, through 2, and again. Let me see what I've got here so I can show you. All right, so now I have my square. Can you see the square? I need something to attach it here, so I'm going to do that, chain 2 again, and I'm going to go right in here. See, this is that first chain 3 we made. We want to count up 2. 1, 2. See the lovely little loopers? There are 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go in this second one. No yarn over anything. It's just going to be a slip stitch. Now we're going to yarn over and go through both loops. We have 1 loop on. We're going to look right here and we can see a loop on top of that one. See that? I'm going to go in there. This is also a slip stitch. We are sneakily moving across there to this opening over here. See this one? We want to go in there now. Sneak in there. And then that's where we want to go. We're headed for that chain area. Another slip stitch, sneak in there, pull it out. All right, now I want you to see what we just did. So we made these little tiny stitches right across the top here. You can't even tell they're there, can you? All right, and it brought us to this corner. We have 4 corners. In each corner, we are going to do 3 double crochets. So that means we need to chain here, right, to get our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3. That's our first faux one, and we always have a faux double crochet at the beginning. Yarn over, in, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, in, yarn over, out, over, through 2, through 2. Now I have 3 there, see them? In the same hole, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do 3 more double crochets in that same one. 1, 2, 3. And this is what it looks like. That's our next corner, okay? Here we're going to chain 2, and we're going to jump all the way over to this corner because we've chained 2 and make it all fit. So in, whoops, yarn over, chain, go through 2, go through 2, yarn over, into the hole, back out. I got the shakes a little bit, you guys. Sorry about that. Okay, I've got 3 there, so I chain 2 again. 1, 2, same hole. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Look it. Do you see it? Starting to emerge. Okay, and we're going to put 1 here and 1 here. And it'll keep building and building, just like the others I showed you earlier. So now we're going to do that chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over, in, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, in, yarn over, in, yarn over. Chain 2, 1, 2, same hole, because we're making a corner. And chain 2. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2, and just make sure you put them in the right things. So if we're looking at it here and we're going around, again, we would do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 more double crochet, chain 2. Then we go to this middle one, it will just be 3 double crochet. And if you look down, just look down to the previous one and it tells you exactly what to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one, you can't do that quite with that one because that's our first real corner, but it'll show you that from the rest on out, okay? So let's get to the next row so you can see that. Yarn over, through, yarn over, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, Alrighty, so I've got that corner in there. I'm going to do my chain 2, 1, 2, and now that it's bigger, you'll be able to see that sneaky Pete stuff we pull here. All right, so we're looking at the top of this, chain 3 again. 1, 2, go up to the second one. Poke the head of your crochet hook through that hole. And no, it isn't always easy. Some people make it look like it's really easy, but sometimes it isn't, especially if you pull hard. And I'm not very consistent with my stitches. Practice makes perfect, remember that. Okay, I finally got it in there. So then I'm just going to do a slip stitch, which means I'm pulling that one string through, and it's going to go through the loop 2 so that I have only 1 on here. And then look at the top of these stitches. Can you see? It kind of makes a C. So I'm going to poke it in here through these at the top, do another slip stitch because we're walking our way over to that corner. Okay, and then when I get to the corner, I do 1 more slip stitch to get me in that corner. Now I chain 3 because that's my faked double crochet, and we're going to go double crochet. Okay. Now if you need help with the count and stuff, please go back and re-watch, because I'm going to whip along here for a minute because I want to show you the pattern as it shows up on here. I've given you the pattern verbally here, so you should, oops, look at, I almost made a mistake. Do you see it? I skipped one. I do not have a third double crochet. So I'll just go back and redo it. Okay. And I'm gonna have to go back to one because I have a hard time with half to one. There we go. And that's the biggest thing, is counting. Just spend your time counting. There we go, 3 and 3. Then 1, 2, and there. Now we have a middle one here, okay? And on your next row there will be 2 of those middle ones. And that will just take 3 double crochets. So in your corners you have 2 sets, then 1 in the middle, and then we're going to go right over here. Don't forget that double crochet. I mean that two chains, sorry. And then your double crochet, 1, 2. So we're back over here to finish up our square. We are doing the 3 double crochets here. Whoops. Chain 2, 1, 2. And now we're going into that corner, so yarn over into the corner. Chain 2, same hole because it's a corner. Chain 2, and now we're going into the one that is in the center here, so it just gets a set of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and now we're headed back into another corner. So it gets the 2 sets of double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and double crochet in the same one because it's a corner. Some yarn here. Okay, chain 2, 1, 2, and then into the center here, which is another triple there, double crochet, 3 sets of them. All right, 1, 2, because it's always a chain 2 at the end. There it is. We're now going to attach it. This is going to be our final stitch. Let's see if I can get it in there, because we counted up. Remember, there's 1, 2, 3. We're going in the second one. And all we're doing is a slip stitch. Now, if we were going to carry on, remember, we would do those sneaky peeks right along here till we got back into this one. And the reason we do that is we always start in the corner. You don't want to start right here. You don't want to turn this and go back because it won't look right. So this is how you would end. Then I would cut my yarn. Do cut it, don't break it like that. It's better to cut, but I don't have my scissors here. All right, so what I'm going to do is pull my tail through here. Remember what I said about those tails? Leave long tails till you're done. Now I'm going to turn it over. Remember when we were making our circle and I was saying about the tail? Look, that tail is ready to be clipped. I can cut right there and I have no tail. This is ready to be used. I can make 3 or 4 more and do a project. So if you will make 2 or 3 more before Next weekend, I will show you how to do a couple of projects with your new stitches. Okay? Alrighty. So remember, Explorer kits at the Ketchikan Public Library. We'll be working with those in the next couple of weeks, several more of those anyway. So we are open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and we are doing those maker bags for the adults and kids, so pick up your maker bags. And adults, if you haven't signed up for the Adult Reading Club, we're actually doing it online. You can do it through the paper like we always do if you want, but you can do it online. So take a peek at our website, ketchikanpubliclibrary.org. All right, masks on, and have a wonderful Saturday.